Teenagers maiming themselves, kids questioning their future roles in society, presenting How Social Media Can Be a Toxic Mirror. Written August 19th, 2016 by Rachel Simmons, summarized by Dylan Enders. Social media can influence millions of people every day. It can also provoke negative thoughts that they don't meet the expectations of the majority of the population. Anything that they see online could be taken way too seriously. And it can be concerning because they interpret that as, their own failures, and it really isn't on them always. As far as it goes, you can't really change the way you look. I mean, you can to an extent, but typically, how you're born is how you're born. You can't really change that. So, that's the main point of this entire article. There's no discrimination for the toxic nature of social media. The age gap is nearly irrelevant. When it comes down to it, anyone can be a product to it at any time for any reason. So a constant need to hide the way you really look is often employed. Essentially, it's just anxiety of not, fear of not being accepted, fear of not being taken seriously, fear of not being any one of those things. Many tools also exist within technology to help consumers hide the way they're portrayed in any type of media. For example, camera filters incite trickery in the image of yourself you wish society would see you as. While it can be tempting to keep up with that, I personally believe through my own experience that it's much better to be yourself. I'm positive that many won't agree, but it's helped me secure things in my own life in the past, just by being honest and genuine about choices that you make daily and your appearance, and honestly, as long as you like the way you look, everything's fine. You don't have anything to prove to anybody, as far as your appearance goes. I mean, I think you know what I mean. Studies have also shown that fitness has taken over the media, which is good for the most part, but can also be detrimental to anyone's mindset who hasn't been acquainted with the standards set by the public eye distributed through the media. All of this provides an illusion of control. If I spend more time and really work at it, I can improve at being beautiful. I don't get to choose how I'm going to leave my apartment today. If I could, my body would look different, but I can choose which picture makes my arms look thinner. That's a quote directly used by Rachel Simmons in that article that I really, can understand where most people are coming from with that. I mean, I tend to agree, but at the same time, I just don't see why it's such a big deal. Again, like I previously said, you really don't have to prove anything to anybody. You just don't. Most teens are also media literate to the point where everything is taken as a critical assessment when it comes to other individuals, which can cause breaks in anxiety, like I said earlier, and clouding judgment of many, which, the more you start thinking that, your appearance isn't totally up to everybody else's standards, the more it can just mess with you a bit. Because you're not entirely sure what you want people to see you as and how to provide them with that image. So, in your own failures, you just get caught up in it. And it's something that you can't usually stop thinking about. It really also doesn't help that teens most days aren't very susceptible to parental advice or advice from those whom hold more experience, and I can relate to that. I don't always listen to everybody. I don't always listen to the people that I should be listening to, for example. It's just difficult. As far as the worldview goes, we share it entirely. As social media, became more and more popular in my generation, and I'm sure, well, took off even more in, later generations. But in mine alone, I noticed more and more people getting just, enveloped in it, twisted by it, and not really sure where they land in the middle. And in conclusion, I feel that we should really start considering if the good that it brings is worth all of the bad. And if you don't know what I'm talking about by the bad, which I'm pretty sure you should, there's videos all over the place. There's numerous articles, not just the one that I've had to summarize, about kids actually maiming their own bodies just for whatever kind of reason, whatever kind of approval, or just influences from other people over the internet. So again, it's hard to justify whether or not that's really worth the advantages of networking and staying connected to your family and everything in between that it does offer you. So I do believe going forward that we should start looking more into that and maybe considering it a little bit more heavily, if we aren't already. Anyhow, that's my presentation. Thank you.